Dayne Zorko. Now, he's been in the news for all the wrong reasons again, and he did address the issue, which was somewhat of a surprise. This is the sledge, of course, against Harrison Petty, and he addressed that, and there was a bit of a twist to the tail on SEN today.
I guess for me, I just sort of want to get across that it was an intense game. Honestly, from the first bounce, there was sort of toing and froing from both sides of the fence. Players across the field probably stepped up to the line all game, and I acknowledge that I certainly crossed that. I just reckon it's really important that Lions fans and fans in general probably understand that it wasn't just an unprovoked sledge and it wasn't set in isolation.
That was a strong comment from Dayne Zorko, who really disappeared from the club for a couple of days, went down the coast, was taken in and spoken to about overreacting to situations, reportedly said to Petty, "I hope your mother dies," or something along those lines. That was reported in the Herald Sun. Melbourne went on with this story, in my view. We had both Simon Goodwin being more honest and then, of course, Max Gawn.
I don't necessarily think we needed those comments for it to be a line in the sand, but it's pretty clear to me going out to games that some of those stuff are off limits. But definitely now the comments are done, I do hope that it is a line in the sand, and those sort of comments can stay away from the footy field.
I can't comment on what was said out in the ground on a Friday night, but I think there is a line, and I think, you know, as a playing group, this is a great reminder, you know, for us internally as much as anything, as well as the learnings of, you know, what's spoken about on field and how it can get away from you. So we'll grab the learnings on the reverse side of it from our end to know that we don't want to be in this situation ourselves.
Now, the AFL briefly got involved and dropped this case like a hot potato by the weekend, Tony. Melbourne were very, very keen for it to go away as well, and both clubs said they were happy with the way it was handled within the clubs. There was a big call in some media circles to go on with it, that what was done, what was said by Zorko was a disgrace. It was a terrible thing to say, although apparently I don't think there was any personal issue with Petty and his mother. It was just a terrible thing to say.
As in illness?
Yes.
Quite random. Yeah. But what's the provocation?
Well, I'm told that some of the stuff being said to Zorko, and Zorko gives as good as he gets, and he's a famous sledger, but it was pretty disgusting. And if you were going to investigate what was said, you'd be more investigating what was said to Zorko about women in his life, far worse than what was said to Petty. Now, Brisbane have not wanted to talk about this, but I think when Max Gawn came out and had another crack, I think there was a view that, and I was told things earlier in the week that I didn't think was necessary to bring up, but I think it's going beyond the pale to bring it up again.
I struggle to think of what could be worse than saying, "I hope your mother dies."
Oh, there's plenty that could be a lot worse, particularly when it might have some element of truth or might be a deeply personal comment about someone in your life, Tony.
I think Dayne did the right thing today, because I was really hard on Dayne throughout the week. And it's more than just, I think, the sledge. I think his behaviour's been pretty ordinary, fighting, taken away from his footy. He's got to get that right.
To me, he looked agitated, and now I begin to understand the nuance and why, because he was provoked, and it was a deeply personal nature, and maybe he actually controlled himself reasonably well in context.
And I'm shocked, TJ, that's still going on to that level, yes, banter, but that's taken it too far on both sides.
Well, Caro, based on what Dayne Zorko says and the provocation element to this, does the AFL need to reopen its investigation?
No, I think the AFL is very happy for this to go away, and Melbourne should stop talking about it. And Simon Goodwin was, said the right things, I reckon. But look, Max was right. He did cross a line, but the Melbourne players crossed a line too. And I think
Goodwin said that. He said internally a sharp reminder, so he knows they may cross the line.
What was said was pretty disgusting, and let's not just think Dayne Zorko's won out on this.